You've landed in the Dream Gardener podcast. Through storytelling from the amazing guests I interview, you will learn how to gather, plant, nurture, and reap all the benefits of pursuing your dreams. I hope you enjoy the show. Welcome, everybody, to the Dream Gardener, and I'm Barbara Donis, your host. The purpose of my podcast is I wanted to share with people how important our dreams are. We haven't been led during most of us during our lives have not been led to believe in our dreams or that they are important at all. And I have a different belief. I think that if more people paid attention to their dreams and actually took action on them, the ones that really spoke to you, that we could really change the world just by following our dreams in a positive way. And today I've got a really special guest. Her name is Jodi Kilani, and I'm going to let her share all that she does because she's got like a rap list of everything that she dabbles in. And but Jodi's going to be sharing with you her journey and the ups and the downs and everything in between. And I'm really excited to have her here. So let's get her on.
Can you see me?
Yes, I can see you, Jodi. Thank you
I
for
don't
joining.
know. I'm not good at this.
Oh, well, I'm getting used to it too because like this was one of the reasons why I put off doing this podcast for like about 2, maybe even 3 years was because the technical part. So I'm learning too. So we'll muddle together. So anyhow, welcome. Before you say what your actual dream is, like what you're doing right now, what I'd like to do is have guests get an idea, a feel for like who you are and I don't know how long you've been actually living your dreams or working towards them. But if you can just tell us like, what your path has been like up until that point.
Well, a little background is I sold residential and commercial real estate for 16 years. And then, as you know, the market kind of crashed in, all the way up until like 2017. But I thought that, you know what, I am going to just step outside of the box and go. Well, I didn't have anything to lose, right? The market was going down, and I've always had a passion for art. I had a mom that was an artist. She was an illustrationist, and so I always made things, and I've always been interested in plants and art and all kind. I have a lot of interests. So I went to a little class on making soap in the middle of a snowstorm. I remember it because I did a donut in the parking lot trying to find the class.
Those are fun to do though.
Oh, I know. And it was like, you make it and you take it. And it really set a seed. I didn't make everything great, but I set out to figure out how to make things that could help not only just like the inner, the outer, the whole being. So I study a lot about plants and herbs and things like that. And I started learning how to make soap. And my mom was my guinea pig for a long time. So poor woman, she had to like experience a lot along the way. But I thought, well, wow. I signed up for an event, and I thought, well, if I made all these things, soap, serums, hair treatments, and I thought, I'm going to sign up for a little show. And if I sell $100 worth of stuff, I'll think, wow, there might be a few people that like this. And I did. I signed up for a little show in our area, and I actually made $600.
Oh my.
And I thought, oh
Whoa.
my God. I mean, it's nothing, but it's everything, because I thought, well, it's kind of a solitude, as like making things, you're alone a lot and you just kind of go with it. And I thought, well, wow, getting it in front of people, and they actually bought things and they liked it. And I started getting like people saying, wow, can you make this? And do you have like a website? Can I follow you? What's your next event? And I was like, oh my gosh. Well, so I went on this quest. I still am on it, but of just learning everything I can about plants, and not using chemicals, and growing things. And yeah, and then I moved about an hour west of where I live, and I live on the Illinois River. And I live exactly where I should be, where everything grows wild, and it's beautiful, and it's very peaceful, and I just love it. And I now have a website. I do a lot of, farmers markets, and I'm selling things to stores, and four stores carry my products. I used to have 9, but 4 or 5 is good to make it um, right now locally, because I'm doing a lot of different things, teaching art. And I also have a Etsy shop where I sell vintage clothes. So
Wow. Okay, so I guess it's kind of hard to ask that question and have people not start because it leads towards your dream.
I know I have so much, that there's always going on, like upstairs here, if I could
Right.
translate that all.
Yeah, but if you could even do it all, that's up in your head. You're just so creative. You keep coming up with these ideas, and it would be amazing.
Honestly, that is the thing I struggle with the most.
What's
It's
that?
having not having a lot to do, and maybe not, being able to fulfill it. That's like one of the obstacles. Now I have a lot of different interests, which means like I think I drive myself crazy. Like, oh, I could do this. Oh, let me make some soap. Oh, let me work on some, let me go dress up in a vintage dress and make some soap and work on needle felting.
So that's an obstacle. What kind? How does that explain? I can only imagine how that can be an obstacle, but explain how that's an obstacle for you. And there's probably a positive. So if you can touch upon both.
There is, and I've been giving myself breaks a lot, saying, okay, every day I'm progressing, and I'm making things, and I'm doing things or putting things online. So I am progressing. I can't do everything in a day.
Mm-hmm.
And I always say, well, it's joy o'clock. Time to go get my joy and refill.
It's
And
wait. What
so
did you say? It's joy.
it's joy o'clock.
Joy
I got to
o'clock.
go get some joy right now. I do.
Oh,
Every day I say it's joy o'clock at some point, and say, well, I got to go, like, either go take a walk, or like refill, or go read something, or, it's not all just work. It's passion, I guess. It's just,
but even when you're doing your passion, you still need a little break from that.
yeah, I think, you got to get your little rowboat and go refill and think about things again, because I don't know anything. You know what I mean? I'm trying to learn things, and there's so much more to learn. That's
Mm-hmm.
I wish I could be like Methuselah, like 920, and
Wait, I didn't get that. What?
like acquire more wisdom and wisdom and wisdom and all that along the way.
Well,
I feel
well,
like it's like this race against the clock, to just learn, I guess, everything we can. And then I've met the most amazing people. I met you along the
mhm.
way. I've met so many, and I've got so many great experiences. So
So it sounds like maybe once a person starts aligning like what their dreams are. Did you like? Okay, so did you know where your dream was going to lead you?
um yes, I've always had, as far as like my natural products and soaps and serums, yeah, I've always wanted it to be, it's not about making like billions of dollars or making, getting rich. It's
Mm-hmm.
not that. Because I believe that if you're doing what you should be doing and your passion and your soul kind of knows that, like if you wake up every day and you get sick when you walk through your work, like you
Mm-hmm.
pretty much know, well, this isn't good for me,
Mm-hmm.
you know? And when you're doing, I think, what you should be doing, like money comes, it just comes. It's not yes, you need money to keep going and things like that, and to keep, capital to keep putting back into it. But money comes naturally when you're just doing everything that you love to do.
Mm-hmm. Like when things are lined up. Yeah, and it
Yes.
becomes effortless. Well, not effortlessly, that's the wrong word, but yeah, the money still comes when you're aligned with what you should be doing.
And
Um,
really, like I think also that if it's only our self chatter that says we can't do something. Nobody stands at your door and goes, Jodi, guess what? I already said you can't do that. We already set it up in our head that goes, well, what if I fail? Well, I can't do that. I'm not good enough.
mhm.
This is totally outside of my box. But I just think you just got to go for it.
Okay, but how did you learn that? Because when you said the negative self chatter, that's some people might not even be aware that that's a common thing that we all possess. Some people might be surprised that, oh, I thought I was the only one that had that negative self chatter. How do you, once you identify that you have that in your head and that's one of the things holding you back, what have you done to get past that?
Positive, speaking nicely to yourself and myself and saying, well, I can do this. I'm going to give it my best effort. And, if I aim for the moon and I fall on a star or like on a cloud, well, I got up there,
Mm-hmm.
and I did it. I stepped outside of my box and I just went for it.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. And I did this, by the way. There was a series of unfortunate events, I think, that led up to this. Not only the market, but I lost my parents in the same year. I moved. My kids moved to the city. There was a lot of stuff going on. And I that's also when I believe that you work the best is that, well, shoot, let me see. I think it was a very big turning of event that real estate, I made good money. I raised two kids, single mom, two kids for 16 years on real estate. It was good to me. But there was a point where this isn't what I want to do my whole life. My kids now graduated high school, they moved to the city, going to college, and I was kind of like, wow, I can do whatever I want to do. Not
Mm-hmm.
everybody has that, but they can still do. Um, just to believe in yourself,
Mm-hmm.
hang around people that are positive, and say, well, yeah, you can do it. And I think in the artsy world, in the creative world, there's a lot of that cheerleading
Mm-hmm.
for another.
Yeah, we're like the underdogs.
Right. And you have to cheer each other on and say, well, hey, try it, do it, give it a whirl, and see what you can accomplish. It's your own personal best, too.
Mm-hmm.
So,
It sounds like one of the pivotal point for you too opened up for you after your kids moved out on their own. And as far as, I mean, because you could have stayed in real estate, right?
oh, yeah. People still ask me, oh, wow, especially with the market going crazy. You don't miss real estate? No. I did
Okay.
that. I lived out that 16 years of it. And there was a day I walked in with all my lock boxes and said, I'm done. Today's the day.
Okay. What were you just not getting from it anymore, or
Well,
why
no,
was
also financially, I had that I remember that one month that I took that soap class that I did the donut in the parking lot. Right before that, I had 17 listings, sales in that month that one by one just fell apart because of the financial everything. The banks were
Mm.
shutting down. So I was like, oh God, hello, what am I gonna do? So, I did that on nothing, a shoestring.
Hmm.
I
Okay.
did it literally on a shoestring. I started out with $200, bought some supplies, um, made some stuff, went through all my mistakes, all of that. I remember making soap and I forgot, well, I didn't really know that you had to like grind things up. And I gave my son's friend a little bar of soap, and they're from England, and I had the whole clothes in it. And I said, did your mom like the soap? And he said, well, she thought it was a salad.
A salad?
Yeah, because the clove left like a mark on her cheek. And when she went to wash with it, I didn't, I've gone through every like mistake but you just go, well, let me try this again.
So that's an obstacle too that didn't stop you. I mean, the learning
No,
curve.
it didn't. No, I was like, well, we got to grind this stuff down, I guess. And we got to, yeah.
I thought though sometimes some of the soaps you buy like there's oatmeal and it's not ground up. I mean it's like a pumice. It's made to be,
Right. Some of them you
so
do leave that. Yeah.
but
Lemongrass.
not whole cloves.
No, those don't work very well. They leave marks.
Yeah. Well, so you're bringing up another thought because I know you just love to learn. So it sounds like that's a important component for someone wanting to pursue their dreams or just start looking into them is, I guess, being willing to start, as a beginner again in whatever it is that you're going to be trying or doing.
Right. You should try to find out and learn everything you can. I mean, um, even I have a great book on coffee and tea that I thought anybody that has a coffee or tea shop should definitely read this book, because it's like the Bible of coffee and tea. You know what I mean? Like, I don't even do coffee and tea. I like coffee, but um, whatever it is you're doing, you can learn everything. It takes time, but just to keep plugging ahead and trying to find out and study and learn everything about and it shouldn't be hard because you already are passionate about it, right?
Right, right. Like that helps make the journey easier and just stick with it. So you're okay with not knowing how to do everything when you take on something new, it sounds like.
Well, yeah. I just cut like 1 billion lilac flowers off my tree, and I'm like, well, what am I going to do with those? So I made infusions, I made toner, I read all about what is it. And lilacs for a very long time, as long as they've been in existence, have been used for like acne. Who would have known? We think of them as just this beautiful smelling flower for a couple weeks.
Mm-hmm.
But I was determined. One night I read for like 8 hours all about lilacs and, the gardenia, all these different families of flowers and things. So that's it. I've got a lilac toner.
Oh, I bet you that smells wonderful.
It actually does.
It's amazing too to think that products that you make are, we forget that they came first before pharmaceuticals or any types of lotions, and a lot of these lotions and medications still have components of the natural plant form in them. We forget that.
Almost every medicine is derived from a plant.
Yeah, fascinating.
Like a foxglove, that beautiful, beautiful flower, is really a high blood pressure medication. It's digitalis, if you've ever heard of that.
Yes, and somebody just said that name digitalis because I've got, my neighbor did, because I've got a foxglove that I love the flower, and she was calling it, she confused it with digitalis, and I didn't. I was like, I heard that name, but I forgot that they're one and the same. So I'll have to tell her that she was right. She had the
Yeah, and
name.
that's the medicine that millions of people take for high blood pressure.
Wow.
Thyme, phenol, that's all derived from thyme. So that's a pain medicine. I mean, you can go on and on and on. And I'm a big faith person, so I refer to the Bible a lot. There's many, many, many herbs and plants that they used for lots of different things that are still here. A rose of Sharon, neem oil, frankincense and myrrh. You can go on with the turmeric, cardamom. Uh, they're all been in existence for a long time.
For a reason. A good
Yeah, because
reason.
they work.
Yeah. Yeah. So can you well, something I like touching upon is okay, well, so you said that you had, is it only three businesses that you've got now?
Only three. No, I
Yeah.
have like two. I teach art at a local gallery in different areas. Um, Needle felting. So it's, if you know what needle felting is, Barb.
Well, I
The
do, but
process.
our listeners might
Well,
not.
the needle felting is really sculpting. I call it sculpting because it's the process of taking and contorting raw fibers and compressing them, and you use a special barb needle to like make two-dimensional, three-dimensional. You can make anything out of it, and it's a very old art as well. And you use local, well, I use local like sheep's wool and alpaca and angora and cashmere to make some pretty cool stuff that it's interesting. And I an Etsy shop where I sell vintage clothes.
Wow. And I think it's awesome that, like, you, especially with just the area of business, you've got, like, so far three different areas that you are working in, three different businesses, and you didn't feel the need to just select one.
No, in fact, COVID really brought out my needle felting again. Because as you know, all the shows stopped, markets shut down. So I wasn't doing that whole show circuit for a while. And so I was like, well, great. I can just like start making things again. And I've been working on a lot of different things my own. And then, yeah, it's just teaching locally. And that has been rewarding too, because I've met great people and we have the most awesome conversations when we're in this creative world that you wouldn't otherwise have. Just everybody sitting around doing these things that makes people just really honest and open and fulfilling and fun. Um,
And you never know, it could be even life changing for them because, who knows where they're going to take this newfound hobby.
yes,
Just
yes.
like
And I
you with
always,
your, I was going to say, just
oh, go
like you with your soap making class that you took, you know?
yeah, that was just a, melt and pour, take it. But it set, there's a seed that's set. You have a seed that's set, and whether we act on it or not, that little thing goes, hey, uh, God, wouldn't that be cool if I could like make a living out of that? Or I could like, and we're like, oh, never mind. That was just like whatever. But we keep hearing that. We do, if we're honest with ourselves, we do dream. We do have things that we want to. You may not know your end goal, but you know what you would love to be doing.
So
You don't.
how does that when you're, like dreaming, because I think there's some people that, and it's probably more people than what we realize, have forgotten how to dream for a variety of reasons. I mean, society just doesn't promote it at all, you know. Parents don't promote it, most parents, like it's get your head out of the clouds and get yourself to college and get yourself a good job.
Right.
forgetting about, doing something that's really just speaks to you, and you just, so how would you tell somebody that has, and we're very disconnected as a society, our mind from our body. I mean, look at how people can, they've got real pain, physical pain, but yet they numb it either with medication or they just focus on other things.
Yeah.
So we've gotten this disconnect from our thoughts, our brain, our soul. How would you, what's a way that you would encourage someone that wants to start paying attention to, like, do I dream? What are they? How do I do it? What would you tell them?
Well, first of all, I think if you go the science route, Freud said dreams equal conflict. And I believe he was talking about sleeping. But they can also translate to your everyday life. Dreams conflict us and say, oh, we have to do this thing like called making a living. I can't possibly go like follow my dream. Like, what will happen? What, I won't have any money. I can't pay my bills. You know what I mean? That
Mm-hmm.
it's that again, self chatter. And I would say, no, it'll come. It'll just happen. It'll, you don't need $1,000,000 in the bank I did it on $200. And I'm not like, I wouldn't say I'm even halfway there with with what I would love to, do every day, even more. So it's the journey and just to get on the bus.
But what does that look like when somebody, like, uh,
Goes for it.
yeah, or like, are there things that someone can do to help get them in? Because, like, I think that's one of the benefits that's going to be coming out of last year, 2020, is people had a time to slow down, to distance
Yeah.
themselves from their job. So it might help in getting reconnected to themselves. But, like, you always hear journaling or meditation. Are there things that, anything like that or differently that you've
Yes.
heard?
I encourage you to like get into groups like that are even going to whatever your passion is to get involved in maybe other groups. There's like meetups and things like that where you can talk with others, and that's kind of like your sounding board, and you can bounce ideas off of each other. There is a great magazine. I don't own a TV. I haven't for like 10 years, but that's why I read a lot. There's a magazine. It's called Bella Grace. I don't know if you've ever heard
Oh,
of it.
yeah, yeah. I
That
love it.
is probably the most fulfilling magazine. It's not even a magazine. It's like downgrading it to call it a magazine. It comes out 3 times a year, um, and it is all about how if you were going to spend a day with yourself, what would that day look like? How would you date yourself? What are your dreams? What are your goals? What are the things that make you happy? What kind of music do you like to listen to? Like it really kind of turns you inside out, and it
Mm-hmm.
even has little questionnaires you can fill in like inside of the book.
Yeah. Yeah,
um,
well, and the price of it is like more of a book too. But it's totally worth it. Yeah.
You know what though? If you were gonna subscribe to anything besides like Smithsonian, National Geographic, those
Mm-hmm.
are my great ones, it would be that. And it's not just for women, it's for men, families. It is just a fulfilling really turns you inside out and actually helps you to journal and like speak your your dreams and write your dreams and think about them.
Mm-hmm. And I think
So
you touched upon getting together like in a group and talking to people. I think that is, and obviously people that are going to be supportive of, dreams and having conversations like this. I think
yes.
that's a huge thing. I'm forgetting how important that is, because that negative self-talk in our head can just right away squelch. What's the word?
I guess it's squelch.
Squelch, I destroy, kill,
Squash.
squash. I'm thinking of the vegetable with squash, but you know what I mean. It can totally just dismantle any little thoughts of a dream that you have. And when you can bounce the ideas off of someone in person or on the phone, or like you said, in that book, Bella Grace, hearing what other people's thoughts are is just it just it's such a connect. It's like, oh my gosh, somebody else is thinking like that, like me.
It
Or
is.
what a cool idea that is, you know. Or you, it triggers a memory in you from your childhood. And yeah, so I think probably not keeping it all to ourselves
I
sounds
was
like.
just gonna say that. To not to like shout it loud and proud, you know what I mean? Like
Mm-hmm.
to celebrate your difference and celebrate your creativity and celebrate all of those things that, every time I say anytime I see somebody that owns a business, I say anytime you see somebody that owns a business, you should go up and shake their hand because it's through blood, sweat, tears, happy, every heartstring has been pulled.
Mm-hmm.
And when you're in business, you just keep going.
Mm-hmm.
And it's for whatever you're interested in. You just, you know, keep going. Believe in yourself.
Yeah, how important that is. And I think maybe just a disbelief or a misunderstanding that people have about people that have their own businesses. They probably think, oh, they're rich, you know, because they have their own business.
Right.
It's like,
That's
no.
usually not the case. I mean, that's, yes, and the flip side of that, I sit out back a lot of times and I go, huh, wow, like this is so peaceful and I get to do whatever I want in the day and I've got that freedom. It's all on me, basically. That's the other pressure. Well,
Mm-hmm.
it's on me but there's that yin and yang. So
Yep.
I would say you have to still be disciplined on like, treating it like this is your career and not just a hobby.
Mm-hmm. Well, and just like you said that there's the yin and yang, you've got that with a regular job too that's not satisfying in any respect. You might, even if it's a job you love it,
Yeah,
but you're working so many hours you don't get to spend it with your family, or you can't take the time off when you want to, so you don't have the freedom.
right.
So either one has, you know, the pluses and negatives to it.
But wouldn't you rather do something that you love to do than going, like I said, every day just for a paycheck?
Mm-hmm.
Because, we've all have to do that. We all have to like have money to live and things like that. But um yeah, it's just so much like believe me, it all works.
Yeah. Yeah, it might not work exactly like the plan that you had laid out, or, you know, time frame or whatever, but it works out, and it usually works
And
out.
I've had everything happen along the way, by the way, that you could possibly have happened. I've
Mm-hmm.
had somebody tried to like steal my company, locked me out of my own company, and I had to rename my company. I had to like capital, trying to keep the wheel turning, getting out there in front of people, even when you don't want to, and
Mm-hmm.
just shouting it loud and proud and believing in it. And yeah, I've gone back to my car many times and cried. And I've also left also going, oh my God, this is the best thing ever. So you know what I mean? That believe in yourself because you're your best cheerleader. So, and surrounding yourself with others, there are those people out there. There's those great souls that love to see you do well.
Mm-hmm. And now more so than ever, it's probably there's different ways of accessing those people. It doesn't have to be just people that you know in person. So it's kind of in a way a lot easier to find those people, to connect with them. There's so many groups online, you know,
I know that's
that
another thing. Yeah, you can just kind of click and join in and even be the silent if you just want to watch and
Mm-hmm.
just be the fly on the wall. And, it doesn't happen overnight, but you keep filling yourself and filling and filling. And so, yeah.
Okay, so I thought of another question I wanted to ask. If you would have been able to have told yourself, well, you said you started doing this back in 2007, was it?
Well, no, I've been full time doing this 7 years. With not, I was doing my real estate and this for a while, but for 7 years now, I've just been having my natural product company and working for myself.
Okay. Well, if you could have told yourself, back in your early 20s, any piece of advice, what would you have wanted to have known back then?
Oh, well,
And
for
and, and let me add one more thing. This isn't like asking you because like it makes any regret, which I know you're not going to take it that way. I believe life unfolds the way it needs to and the way it's supposed to. But so it's more like, oh, that would have, had I known this, it would have made a big difference. But
gosh, I wish my daughter was here right now at this moment because she just graduated Loyola and she's 27.
mm-hmm.
And she has been telling me how bad she feels. She's the oldest person there. And I said,
uh,
Abby, your life hasn't taken that same course. But guess what? She did it. And she just graduated at 27. And
awesome.
most people are 23 or 22 or 24, but it might have taken her a little bit longer. And that's been a lot of tears of her beating herself up, saying,
Aw.
gosh, but that's why I'm like, boy, you need to be celebrated. If I could say tenacity and perseverance,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
it would be that. And if I had to say that, because she is 27, if I were to talk to myself in my 20s again, I would say be a little bit selfish with yourself. Like, meaning in a good way. Like,
Mm-hmm.
do, I wish I could go back and be like a botanist, have my PhD in botany, um, which doesn't mean I can't. I could.
Mm-hmm.
But if I were to take a different path, I would have said, oh my gosh, and listened to my mom and said, science, 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 math, just for me myself, that would have been something that the science route I would have loved to gone down. Um, but I'm doing it now, later, and I'm
Yeah.
53.
See, it's never too late. and
Right.
that and that's
So,
still so young. I mean, I think that's probably like that missing link in people is to continually be learning something.
yes, it
You
is. I have like hundreds of books. I have like 15 books by my nightstand, and everybody says, "Oh my gosh, you don't finish a book." I read multiple books at the same time.
Yeah, me too. And I could
Right,
have I could
because,
have there's so many cool ones out there. And you don't even read the whole thing all the time. You read parts
no,
of it or whatever. Yeah, I need to get more bookshelves in the house. There's just not enough bookshelves.
and that's worth getting because don't throw away your books.
I'll have to have
They're
you
worth
tell my
keeping.
husband. You can
They're
tell.
definitely worth keeping, those special books that you picked them in the first place.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Well,
Well, awesome. We touched upon a lot of different areas, and I can just get a good sense of just the like never-ending energy and enthusiasm you have for what you're doing, and I mean that's contagious. Who wouldn't want that? Just
well, yeah. I mean, it's pretty fun what I get to do. Except I have poison ivy. Wait, where is it?
oh, bummer. Well,
That's from making my jewel weed and plantain salve for poison ivy. You have to climb over the poison to get to the cure. So
oh, really?
there's war injuries.
Couldn't you have worn gloves or
It
would that?
doesn't matter. I wear long pants, gloves, double socks, and in the spring and in the fall, the poison ivy is at its highest oil content. So it's really, And I live on the river by the woods. So, it's like I have no
Wow.
hope. But it's okay because I have the salve now.
See,
And
even nature isn't perfect. You've got the negative next to the positive.
you do. You have to. Yeah, it's always growing. The poison's always growing next to the cure. It's so interesting. You know,
Hmm. How in-
that's usually the case. That way you don't have to crawl far.
Yeah, but meanwhile, like if you're crawling in poison ivy, you're getting more infected and need more of the
I
cure.
know. And I always used to say, I never get it. But I think the more you're in it, the more you get it. So,
Uh,
but
that's
yeah, this has been fun.
I'm sure you've got a cream for that, right?
That's what I was making. I was going to get the jewel weed and the plantains that are grow right next to the poison ivy to make the salve.
But I'm hoping you've got some left over from like your last batch.
No, I'm making the batch.
Oh, okay.
It'll be fresh off the press for this one.
Uh,
So it's
okay.
okay. See, it works out.
Well, thank you, Jodi. It was wonderful having you here, and
Aw, thank you.
I know you're gonna give. We never know who's gonna be listening and who's going to be able to take something that you said from your experience, and it's gonna make a difference in their life, a positive difference. So thank you for that. Even though you weren't comfortable with this whole setup, not knowing exactly how it's going to go, you step beyond that. And it's always about making a difference in other people's lives. So,
Yeah. Well, thanks for having me. Really.
yes, you're welcome. You're welcome. So, enjoy the rest of your day. And let's see. Okay, everybody. So, you heard from Jodi what a difference just following those inclinations, whatever your interests are, taking a class. There's so many classes out there. There's so many classes. I personally have always loved the in-person classes, but because we didn't have them back when I was younger. But now it's just fun taking classes online too. There's so many classes that are out there. So invest in yourself. If that's what it means to take a class, do that. You never know where. And again, it doesn't have to be like now that becomes your full-time gig, but who knows? Maybe it might. Maybe it might just be something that you just do simply because you just thoroughly enjoy it, and it renews yourself. It renews your soul, your spirit, and it makes you be a more effective mom or dad or employee. That's a good enough reason to do it. So I encourage you, and until next time, have fun pursuing your dreams.